29th. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And is it kind of thing where it's like, it's a pretty big deal locally, but like doesn't attract a big crowd like regionally?
Yeah, I'd say it's a pretty regional race. You know, there's some fast guys that rock up locally, and it's about the same time because the Pro Cup is then only,
yeah.
when is that? That's maybe mid-April. So it might be like a couple weeks after.
Yeah. Okay. Are you going to do that too?
Yeah. I'll do that. I think I might actually, 2 years ago, I did the UCI race. And then last year I just didn't have any business being in the UCI race. So I just did the 1-2s. But maybe I'll jump back in the UCI race again this year.
Sweet, dude. That race pulls a steep crowd. I mean, it's like huge.
Yeah. It's like 70 to 90 guys in the short track, you know, and then
it's awesome.
Same amount in the cross country. So should be a good time.
So who are like the local hitters in Northwest Arkansas? Because it's like surprising to me that there isn't like, you know, like Durango pumps out mountain bikers. And I know Bentonville's still somewhat new to the scene, but you know, I mean, it's been like a, you know, mountain bike mecca for 5-6 years now, at least.
Yeah.
And it's kind of surprising to me that like more people haven't flocked there. Like I know you moved there, but I don't know of anyone else that like uprooted themselves and like moved to Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah. Lucas Strain is a guy that's locally. His partner, Sammy Runnels, if you're familiar with that name from the cross side of things. They both live here when I think Sammy has a little bit more school left, but they live here. There's another guy, Curtis Feltner, who's used to be a snowboarder and then triathlete and now is just tearing it up on the bike. There's some other local guys, Olivier Lavigneur, a couple guys down in like Johnny Purvis is another guy that races crits and he's local.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
I know his name.
we have a lot of fast, like just fast guys, but maybe they don't race nationally a lot. There's a few of those guys that live in the state. And then of course anybody from, you know, there's some other people down in Oklahoma and Missouri that come through, but I would say it's more Bentonville or Northwest Arkansas right now is more of a tourist destination. USAC just announced that they're going to have like a team camp for their elite mountain bike coming up here next month. And then they're also going to have a satellite office here. So I'm sure they'll be hosting camps here throughout the next couple of months and years, especially with the next Olympic cycle starting. And I think it seems like it's poised to be the next place. Like it was interesting. I don't know if you keep up with what's his nugget, Brendan Quirk on LinkedIn, but he posted Brendan Quirk. He's the now current CEO of USA Cycling. Oh
no, I don't. Yeah, we are not connected via LinkedIn.
Well, he just posted something the other day about the collegiate director. They're hiring a collegiate director for USAC, and that role is actually based here, which I thought was really interesting. So
that's cool.
Yeah, seems like things are moving and shaking, but yeah, I mean, to date, there's like fast local guys, but of course, when guys like Russell and I don't know, whoever else comes down for Rule of 3, they put them to shame. But overall, it's a lot of fast regional guys. And then I'm sure, as the Walton wheels keep turning, there'll be more and more fast people looking to relocate here. So, yeah. Crystal, I forgot to mention Crystal Anthony. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I forgot that she's lived there for a while. Like she kind of moved there early on before it was like mainstream.
Yeah. She's like the Bentonville
maybe
hipster.
2017 or 2016 or something like that. She moved out there.
Yeah, I think so. Moved here before it was cool.
I back in like 2019, I got to help out with one of the, I guess it was maybe the Mud Fun, like first year of Mud Fun at the time. But Devo Camp. It was after the Fayetteville cyclocross UCI race, like when they were doing the World Championship preview race, which was kind of a funny funny way to coin it because it really didn't give us any insight into what the World Championship was going to look like. But anyways, yeah, USAC did like a Devo talent ID camp after that. And it was pretty sick. I got to like hang out in Bentonville for a week. And then like the following weekend was the Oz Trails off-road. So I got to like basically spend like a week and a half in Bentonville, and it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems to be a lot of programming here, and it's kind of building itself up as this mountain bike destination. So yeah, I mean, it's funny, every weekend you'll see in the spring, or like, I would say it's probably starting next month, you'll start seeing license plates from Minnesota, from South Dakota, from like all of these winter spots where people get a week off or they take a long weekend to come down and ride bikes. But
yep.
Yeah, it's a cool spot for sure.
Cool. Maybe I've been trying to do like figure out some kind of spring like training camp for myself. I also like wanted to coordinate one for like coaching too. But they're actually harder to plan than you realize, or than you would think. Especially when I've never actually done any formal training camp myself.
Yeah. I was just talking with an athlete who went to a training camp for a mountain bike team, and I had lots of questions about what did you guys do? What happened?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's like the bro camp where like everyone just gets together and goes and rides. But then it's like if you're trying to put on like a formal camp where like people are paying to come there and stuff like that, like there's a lot that goes into it, because you don't want it to turn into that. Because otherwise, like, well, like what value are people getting from that? Like, you know, and that's what I like been kind of like stumbling with myself. It's like, you know, I can travel somewhere and go put in a 25-hour week, but I could also like just take some time off of other stuff and stay home and put a 25-hour week in. Like I just don't do that though, because I'm home, you know? So it's like, there's like this, it's like weird dilemma. Cause I have no problem riding outside in the winter here. Like that's not the issue. It's more so like just the motivation to like put in a huge week like that.
Yeah, there is something to being like on a quote unquote bike vacation, right? Where you're just motivated to ride or you go to a new place. But I think as long as if you know the place where you're going, then that makes it easier. But if you're just coordinating by yourself, like, or coordinating for a group of people, there's pressure to find a cool spot to come in, or like, what routes do we go do? You really have to rely on someone that's been there and knows the roads to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. You don't want to like people wake up in the morning and everyone's like checking trail forks. Like, oh yeah, you know, maybe we could link this trail and, you know, do that trail. Like you've got to have it pretty well mapped out.
Yeah, for sure.
Are you guys already recording?
We are. We figured we'd talk about like, more important things than before the gravel starts.
Started without me. Dang.
Dude, you got to be here on time.
All right, what are we talking about?
Talking about training camps right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Dylan, have you had training camp experiences in your cycling career?
No, to be honest, not really. Just kind of train consistently throughout the winter. I don't have like 1 week where I go to somewhere. I've never had, you know, gone to a place, done way more riding than I'm normally doing, and then gone back home. And it's never been something that I've done. I'm not saying that I'm against it, but I'm just saying I haven't personally done it.
And you didn't get invited to the Spirit Tour?
No.
Yeah, it's an interesting concept and hard if you're the one planning. Like Adam and I were just talking about, how do you figure out from like a coaching perspective to put together a week that'll cater to a bunch of people coming down to go ride? It's a lot of pressure and logistics to figure out what you're going to do, where you're going to ride, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, for sure. We might have a training camp in Tucson if we all head down to Tucson in February.
Are you talking about us on this call, or are we coordinating this right now?
Dude, you can come too.
Yeah.
You can come.
Yeah, you want to come?
Sure.
I mean,
let's go.
At least 3 of us on this call.
Dude, but okay, so here's the confusing thing. So, and I don't know, maybe Drew just like he's not good geographically, but like he's going to Phoenix, but Caitlin's going to Tucson.
How far apart are those two?
Like a few hours.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I'm kind of
I'm kind of 50-50 on it anyway, because to be honest, February in Brevard is not bad at all. And it's like, you know, do I need to fly somewhere when I could easily ride my bike every single day here? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were just talking about. Like I've never done a training camp before. I would like to. Like I always have this desire to, like, every year I'm like, okay, I should go somewhere. But like the reality,
I mean,
is,
it makes a lot of sense for you, right? Because you can't ride outside right now.
I just did 4 hours outside today.
Oh, all right. Well,
yeah. And then I went cross country skiing for an hour after that. So like,
dang,
yeah,
dude.
I have no problem getting the training in here. It's
what,
more so
on
like
the fat bike or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Fat bike exclusively.
So
this
is it
winter's
like
actually been awesome.
It's only fat bike in the winter? You can't do anything else.
Right now, this winter, yeah, because we've already gotten like 3 feet of snow this winter, which like doesn't seem like that much if you're like from Colorado, but like for here, it's a lot because it stays below freezing. Like,
I mean, that sounds like
time.
a ton to me.
Yeah. So yeah, there's like
we haven't gotten 1
over 2
inch
feet
yet.
Well, you live in North Carolina, dude.
Well, dude, sometimes we get like a foot of snow.
Maybe.
I mean, I live in the mountains of North Carolina. I don't.
Maybe it'll come like mid-February, and you'll be like wishing you went to Tucson.
Yeah, dude. If it comes mid-February, I'll book a last-minute trip to Tucson.
Yeah. Honestly, like the worst month here usually is November, unless I'm like ending my season already. Like this year, I ended my season like early November, so it was fine because I didn't really care what the weather was. But usually, November is a terrible training month, and March is usually pretty bad too. Because by March, you're like starting to do some like pretty hefty training, and usually there's not snow on the ground anymore in March, but it's still cold, and that's what sucks. Like I'm fine if it's like super cold and there's snow on the ground, but if it's just like super cold and windy and there's no snow, then it's like kind of dreary.
Well, there we go. I guess March is our training camp date then, Adam.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think that if my girlfriend wasn't still in college right now, I think the two of us would have just gone to like Tucson or Florida. I mean, it's not even that bad here in Brevard, but like if you can ride every single day in 70 and 80 degrees in January and February, you know, you probably would have done that.
Yeah. Dude, but Florida's like, I mean, I don't know. I've never ridden bike there, but it just seems like such a boring place to ride.
Well, it's pretty flat, but they do have a lot of
gravel. Dude, it's like so flat.
Well, it depends on where in the state you go. Northern Florida is kind of rolling a little bit.
Central Florida's not bad either. Like that's where, like around Ocala, like there's some good hills out that way. But yeah, if you go towards the coast, pan flat. Like 200 feet of climbing in 4 hours.
They do have a lot of gravel there. You know, it's not
really?
the most fun gravel in the world because it's pretty flat. But yeah,
you get to see like big ass snakes and stuff when you're riding gravel down there.
Do you see gators, man?
Or gators, yeah.
Yeah, if you're not careful, they're freaking bite your tires.
Dude, if it bites your tires, then it's also going to definitely bite you because you're not going to be going anywhere.
No, when I did a race down in Florida, we did see gators. Like we were riding the gravel, and the gravels are like on these levees, right? So the gators are right there. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's pretty wicked.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't get any like thrill or adrenaline rush or anything out of like riding in places where there's wild animals that could kill you. Like that's just not something that I'm like that excited about.
Yeah. I mean, you don't like seeing a wild animal? Like a bear or something? Dude, it'd be totally fine if I never saw a bear or a mountain lion. You've never seen a bear or a mountain lion?
Not in the wild, and I don't want to.
In Pisgah National Forest, I've seen bears multiple times, and one time a bear, while I was riding, a bear just ran in front of the trail that I was riding, probably 5 feet in front of me. Like if I had started riding that trail 2 seconds earlier, I would have just ran into it.
Smoked it.
Or if you would have had arrow socks on, that would have been.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Seriously.
Cool. Well, should we? Is Drew joining us for this episode to talk about his
let's just
cross
assume
experience?
he's not. I don't know what Drew's doing, man.
Because I was gonna say if he is, it's gonna be during the end of the episode because he's clearly not on now, and we should probably get to listener questions first.
Yes.
We don't want to talk about how we're prognosticators. I say we. I mean, you guys are prognosticators of the lifetime.
What is that
Grand
word?
Prix.
What is that? Yeah, what does that word mean?
Like that you were so. You guys predicted it. You guys called what the.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's true. Are we not going to talk about how we predicted it?
I mean, we don't have to pat our own backs. We could just.
Honestly, it was Adam. Like, I kind of just piggybacked off of Adam.
We're all
Adam
riding
kind of figured that whole thing out. He was like, yeah, man, the rad. They haven't picked their registration, and also just the dates and the way the like moon aligns with the sun in this specific period of time. And I was like, wow, yeah, that makes sense, man.
Yeah. I mean, it did just seem like too obvious to me, but I was also like sort of half expecting a curveball because it seems so obvious, but they didn't give us that. They just gave us the
I was really hoping for a curveball, and I was really hoping for an East Coast race because I'm an East Coaster, but also I feel like if it's a national series, you got to have at least one East Coast race.
And why do you have to have 3 super high elevation races? Like, dude.
That kind of sucks too.
Come on.
Yeah.
I feel like no one's going to go to Schwamigan. No. Because everyone's going to be.
Why would no one go to Schwamigan? Because they don't want to leave Colorado.
Now Schwamigan is the outlier of the whole series. So yeah. Why would you detrain to try and improve your fitness for a 2-hour race?
Yeah,
just to have to turn around and train again for 200
we should probably
races.
talk about that. That's the trickiest thing about where they put it on the calendar. So it's 2 weeks after Schwamigan, is that correct?
Yeah, which means no time for altitude training or proper.
Well, I mean, if you went straight from Schwamigan back to altitude,
still not optimal.
I mean, it's not optimal, but I mean that's not bad. 2 weeks.
How fast can you detrain from altitude, Mr. Science guy?
Here's the thing: is that if you want to do super well at Schwamigan, you should actually probably be training at low altitude.
Yeah.
To get in those super high end VO2 max efforts, which you need for Schwamigan. And then in order to do well at the rad, you want to be doing altitude training. So I don't know. I wonder if people are going to pick one or the other out of those two. And then both of those events are going to be sparsely attended, relatively.
I could see that. Pete Stettin already put his calendar out there, and he's not doing Schwamigan. I haven't looked at anyone else.
He had a lot of races on his calendar. It seemed like too many to me. I mean, I don't want to tell him what to do.
I think he even mentioned that he was dialing it back this year.
Yeah, his schedule last year was also crazy, man.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I talked about in the recent video that I just put out is I feel like I definitely feel like I over raced last year. And some of these other gravel racers, I mean, they're doing more races than I'm doing. I mean, guys like Pete Stettin and Adam Roberge they get into the season, it's like they're racing a freaking, 5 to 10 hour race every weekend. It's crazy. I don't know how they don't get burnt out by the end of the season, both physically and mentally.
I wonder if you're just if you come into the season burnt out, then you never realize you're getting burnt out. If you're just chronically burnt out, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, I feel like Adam got stronger throughout the season. His best results of the whole year was arguably Big Sugar, third place in a lifetime Grand Prix race.
And he won BWR Kansas, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. The week before. Yep.
Yeah. Animal.
Yeah, man. So yeah.
Probably what it is he probably detrained a little bit for Schwalmegen and got his freshness back.
You think?
Maybe.
I feel like he didn't, dude. I feel like he didn't care at all about Schwalmgen. He's like, he was just pissed that he had to ride his mountain bike.
What do you guys take on?
Only.
What do you? I saw some dust up about the something about making it a series and how they should have added a mountain bike race. What do you all think about them adding another gravel race to the lifetime Grand Prix?
Oh yeah, I think Finstey put something out there like that. Like he's like, it's already leaning towards gravel. Like, why do we need to add more gravel?
I mean, of course, a mountain biker was going to complain about how it was. Like, it wasn't leaning towards gravel. It was 50% gravel and 50% mountain bike. Now, you could argue that the mountain bike races that they have in the series are super pussy, which they are. They're practically gravel races. The fact that you can do all three of them just fine on a hardtail is all you need to know, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what would have been cool, and I think I actually texted Adam about this, is if they picked a super technical mountain bike race as this wild card event. I would have liked it to be easy.
The problem is they don't really care about the Grand Prix. What they care about is getting more people into their events. And they're not. You're not going to fill 2,000 spots in a super technical mountain bike race. Like, it's just not going to happen.
People love technical mountain bike races here on the East Coast.
That's because that's the only riding there is on the East Coast.
I'm just saying, people are into it.
I don't know. I just don't know if I don't know. I agree. I don't know if it's the crowd that they're trying to get after.
Yeah, I think it would be really hard to have to get a bunch of people, to get to a race that would be in Pisgah, say an endurance mountain bike race in Pisgah. It's going to attract a certain type of person, but definitely not the same crowd as a viable gravel event will.
Yeah. The fact that 3 of them are at high altitude and 2 races in a supposedly national series are in Colorado, the same state. I don't know. They need East Coast representation, in my opinion. Isn't there there has to be a lifetime race on the East Coast, right?
Yeah. So Daniel actually texted us or emailed us or whatever. There was one that was called the now I'm going to forget it. There was one up in I think it was in New York. Hold on. Now I need to look it up.
The Turkey Trot?
Turkey Trot.
It was White something tour of
and I bet it was super technical too. New York trails are pretty rocky.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. Anyways, he was telling us there used to be one, but that race is no longer part of the lifetime conglomerate, so some kind of falling out happened there.
Okay. Bummer. Well,
yeah.
That's a great segue, though, Adam, into listener questions. Not to take it away from
it is. Yeah.
Whatever you guys want to talk
Daniel.
about. But
does Daniel have another listener question?
No, but Helen Kau, sorry, don't know how to say your name. It's Kau. I wonder how you say that. But anyways, he asks when we're going to have Daniel on the show. Dude, so we should get Daniel on sometime. And not just because he's a VIP Patreon contributor, but because he's got some he's got some kick-ass ideas about how to analyze and do some stuff to break down performance of racers and stuff. I don't know. It'd be interesting to have him on. I don't know all that much about his background, but it'd be cool to learn more, especially since we talk about Daniel every show.
Yeah. And also, Daniel, start the Gravel Stats website.
Yeah, what did we call it? We had like a cool name for it.
Pebble Power.
Remember?
Pedal Power.
Pebble Power.
Pebble Power.
Yeah.
Was Adam's
Pebble Power.
Pebble Power.
Yep.
Small rocks.
Yep.
Yeah. Like goes with gravel, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
okay, let's get into this. Leif Jurgensen wants to know what supplements or topicals do you guys use for riding performance?
All right, you guys
so
want to
I'll
start?
go ahead. I don't use any supplements for riding performance. I just take like some vitamins and stuff like that, like just normal crap. I will use the PR lotion like every once in a while for like a hard race. Probably not for something like a 100-mile race, but for something that's like going to be 4 hours or less, I'll throw some of that on.
Did you use it for Schwamingen? I can't remember.
I did, and I only remember that I did because I also wore my Aero socks, and I put my lotion on too far down my calf, and then my Aero socks wouldn't stay up.
dude, you want to? Yeah. So
it was a rookie move.
I made a video about PR lotion, and that was actually the catalyst that got me to leave CTS and start my own coaching company.
Because you were against PR lotion?
No, I wasn't against. I mean, you should go back if you're listening. You should go back and watch that video. But I mean, I was just like looking at the research, and the research is, first of all, is super limited, and the research that is out there is funded by like PR lotion, and the fact that it's funded by PR lotion should already, you got to take this stuff with a grain of salt, and even with it being funded by PR lotion, it wasn't that impressive. Like they tried to, they advertised some of the results on their website to try to make it look like it was impressive, but I actually went and read the studies that they did, and I was like, is this the best they got? This is not like what? I can't remember the specifics of it now because at this point that video is like 3 years old probably. But yeah, I remember it just not being very impressive. And so what I said in that video is like, I don't know for sure whether this stuff works or not works. All I can say is that the research that's currently available is funded by PR lotion and it's not that impressive, which should tell you a lot. And and I guess I didn't even realize this, but PR lotion was like a sponsor of CTS. Right.
Oh.
So they were like, yeah, you can't do that, Dylan. And I was like, all right. So I took it down for like a month. And then I basically told myself that I was like, I can't have like a company telling me what videos I can and can't make. So I was just like, yeah, see you guys.
Yeah. So it's safe to say you only use Lactigo then.
Yeah, I haven't looked into Lactigo. Is it basically the same thing?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you might as well just like put some sodium
Phil
bicarbonate.
Diamond uses that?
I think so. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, it's so funny. Like, I love he does some funny stuff with it. Like he'll like literally like use an entire bottle. He like pours it on his like head and like does some like, it's pretty funny what he does. Which I guess when you're getting like a $40 bottle of lotion for free, then you can do whatever you want with it. But
that much?
Probably. I don't know. I mean, I know
that PR lotion is expensive.
Yeah, it's probably about the same. I'm not sure, but I have like a stockpile of it, and I don't know that I will buy any like once it runs out. So I kind of just sparingly use it when I feel like it might be helpful.
Now, knowing that what you say to this question might completely be placebo effect, but do you feel like it works?
Yeah, and that's why I do it. And I don't care if it's placebo or not.
Sure.
Like, I do feel like there's like a little bit of superhuman abilities, and it might just be placebo, and I don't really care. I know it's not hurting me.
Here's the thing is that whether it's placebo or not, the placebo is actually a performance enhancer. If the placebo makes you ride faster, then who cares if the lotion worked or didn't work? The end result is you rode faster.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
which is hard when you're doing like I don't remember, like I don't know if they did like a double blind or single blind study with the PR lotion.
I can't remember the specific details of it, to be honest with you.
You know, like if you wanted to know if it was just the lotion, like you would just tell them it's sunscreen and be like, oh yeah, don't forget to use your sunscreen on your legs.
Sure.
Right? Like, and then see if there's a performance increase. But yeah, I mean, I don't really care. All I know is it's not hurting me. So I just use it when I feel like it's going to maybe help. And sometimes it does. And I mean, you never really know, I guess.
Well, if they came out with some more conclusive research, you would know, but
sure,
you know, that might ruin the placebo effect.
I've never like tried to like, you know, use it for some kind of testing protocol and then like not use it and just like see if there's actually like
I mean, I would say that even if you did that, there's a lot of variables that are, you know, like for example, if you were to do an FTP test 2 weeks in a row, and you know, 1 week you got a higher FTP, maybe you used it that week. It's like if you were to do an FTP test 2 weeks in a row and not change anything, you would probably get a different result, right?
For sure. Yeah.
So yeah. I forgot what the original.
Did you guys answer this question? He was asking about supplements and topicals.
Oh my gosh, we went off on such a tangent there.
So Adam's the only one that uses topicals. I don't use any PR lotion or Lactigo. I think the only supplement, if you could call it that I take is just like extra whey protein after the fact. Trying to up my protein intake or increase that. But yeah, beyond that, I don't know. I haven't noticed. There's other factors to my performance that could that I should fix first before I'm looking for 0.25%.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, like I take vitamins for like daily health and who knows? I don't know. There's so much mixed research on vitamins too. Like I don't really know, but I definitely don't do it for performance reasons. It's like I just want to try not to get sick.
Yeah, I mean, I think that with supplementing with vitamins and minerals, it's probably a good idea to get blood work done to see if you're deficient in anything. Because if you are deficient in something, you should definitely do something about it, whether it's supplemental or dietary or whatever. So that being said, the only vitamin that I take regularly is vitamin B12.
Yep.
And so I used to not take any supplements, but there actually are supplements that do have pretty good research to support the fact that they probably do something. So I actually have both of them right here. So the first one is L-Carnitine. L-Carnitine has been shown to improve endurance performance, but you have to take it continuously for like 5 months, which is a very long period of time to see an effect from a supplement. And also you have to take it with a carbohydrate meal. So there's some research that showed like no effect of L-Carnitine, and it's because, you know, they didn't take it correctly. And then there's some research that shows better positive effects from L-Carnitine, and it's because they did take it correctly. And then the next one is one that I just recently started taking, and it's because I did a lot of research on that recent video I did on testosterone. So for those who didn't watch that video, basically I was talking about how cyclists in general have low testosterone, and the more you train, the more likely you are to have low testosterone levels. And it could potentially, low testosterone levels aren't necessarily going to affect your performance, but there probably is a point at which your testosterone gets low enough that you're not only going to have a performance decline, but you're also, like you're going to have no libido, and then you're going to have a different kind of performance decline. So the other supplement that I have been trying recently is Tongkat Ali. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And that's just like a
I think you're not.
Dude, you try to pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can you read that?
Tongkat Ali? I don't know.
All right, whatever.
I bet it's not right.
It's an herb, and it's supposed to raise testosterone. I have not gotten blood work done since I've started taking it to see if my testosterone has increased. Maybe I should. But yeah, those are the two that I'm taking right now. And I will say that I used to kind of be like I don't want to say an anti-supplement guy, but I didn't take any supplements, and I didn't feel the need to take any supplements. And the vast majority of supplements are not worth taking, and there's no research to support that they do anything for you as far as performance goes. That being said, there's a select few supplements that do have research suggesting that they do something. It's not a huge improvement, but we're talking about like a marginal gain here.
What do you know about ashwagandha?
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to this Tongkat Ali. It's like a natural, like it's like an herb that supposedly increases testosterone, correct?
Something like that. It's been there have been lots of studies that have shown that it has improvements on VO2 max.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the mechanism for which it induces that, but I like tried to experiment with it a couple years ago. I think it was actually in 2020, like during the COVID year. And it like I don't know what it was, but it made me feel really weird. I like took it for like a couple weeks, and I like felt really weird. So
what do you mean by weird?
I don't remember exactly what it did, but like I think it made me feel like kind of jittery or something. Like I just didn't. I could feel something different was going on. So then I got kind of sketched out about it, and I did a bunch of research into like which ones were like the best to take, and the one that I did was like it was like I don't know K64 or K62 or something. It was like specific formulation that
K64.
I don't remember. It was something like that. I don't know. Maybe it was K12 or I don't know. But it was some. It
Isn't
was like
a
it was the most
or something?
recommended. No, that's K2.
K2.
I don't know. It was highly recommended that was the blend or formulation to take. But yeah, I don't know. I still have the bottle. It's still like in my medicine cabinet. But I just like something about it just didn't feel right. So I was like, I'm just not gonna do this.
Yeah. I've never taken that, so I can't say. But I will say also that during race season, I will also take beta-alanine, which has been shown to be particularly beneficial for like 5-minute power. So, and too bad Scott's not on, because me and Scott were just having a conversation about creatine, and I've had people ask me about creatine before, and I've done research on creatine. Most likely, the only thing that creatine will help you with is your sprint. Like we're talking about your 10-second power, and probably nothing else. So for some people, that's important. Like it could be important for Scott, right? Scott's a sprinter. But the other thing to keep in mind is that you're going to gain water weight when you take it. So, it's definitely a trade-off. Like,
can't you use up all the creatine stores or something like that rather quickly, like easily? So like you have to be like a sprint only matters at the end of the race, right?
Sure.
Like, so if you accidentally use up all of your creatine stores or whatever it is, then like you come to the line and then there's nothing there. So like it's not actually helpful. So I don't know if dudes like sprinters are maybe putting creatine in their bottles like for the last hour of their race in order to try and to do that.
To be honest, I don't know. I mean, I think it's something that you have to load with. I don't think you just, have it in your bottle and there it is. It's like you have to go through a loading process. I've never taken creatine. It's more of like a gym bro supplement for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exact protocol is, but
like 10, I don't know, whatever, 10, 15 years ago, whatever that was.
When you went through your gym bro phase.
Yeah. I mean, I was just like, I don't know, I was powerlifting and I was just like, what all the other dudes were doing.
You were powerlifting?
Yeah.
Dang.
I was still like kind of the same size, but I was like in a powerlifting class. Like, yeah.
Oh.
I wasn't like
okay,
I wasn't like
you were
doing
like
powerlifting competition.
You were like competing in powerlifting. Okay.
No, dude.
Also, if you're still the same size, I mean, you're like what are you, like 145 or something?
Yeah, I think the biggest I got was 160.
That's, I mean, for a high schooler, that's pretty big.
Oh no, that was in college.
Oh,
okay. I like lifted all through college too, but like in college, I intentionally tried to gain weight, and the biggest I ever got was 160. I think in high school I was like 140, 145.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Need to send in some pics of swole Adam.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, we got to move on because we're 40 minutes in. We only answered one question. Okay, Peter.
We need Scott here. He gives very quick answers.
Dude, yeah. Peter J wants to know, he's got 9,000 miles on his 3-year-old gravel bike, and he wants to know if he should get a new one. Yes.
Next question. I mean, 9,000
I wouldn't
miles.
say that 9,000 mile, like bike parts last a long time, especially like the bike itself. Like 9,000 miles isn't that much for a bike, but I don't know. Gravel bikes have changed a ton in 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if the question is, should you get a new bike, regardless of the number of miles, just get the new bike,
Right. Unless you've if you've never changed like your chain and your cassette and chain rings and stuff, and like your bike is totally clapped out, then yes, 9,000 miles is way too many, and you should probably just get a whole new bike.
Just trash that.
It's probably clapped.
Find the nearest dumpster.
Did he say what gravel bike he has, or he's just like, it has 9,000 miles?
No, he's gonna get a factor though for sure.
Yeah. Dope.
Okay.
Tyler, you got anything to add to that?
No.
Okay. Okay, well, this is funny. Only because Scott's not here. But over under on how many one-word answers Scott will provide. Dude, we need Scott's one-word answers right now. We'd have like all these questions knocked out.
Should we one-word answer like the next 5 questions? You have to. Okay, we have to answer here's the deal. We have to answer the next 5 questions in one word and move on. That's it.
Okay, I have another thing which I think might be an audience favorite. Can we send a subsection of these questions to Scott and have him record his answers to then supplement?
He just needs to get back on the podcast. I don't know what he's doing. He's like can't record while he's in Europe or something.
Yeah, he's got to take pictures and like sit through, I'm sure, team meetings and shit like that. So
okay, so Dylan, this one's for you. One word answer.
All right.
This one is from Gamekeeping Shorts. Where does Nina go when Dylan has low T levels?
One word answer to that? I don't know.
Vibrator?
All right, move on. Next question.
How do y'all mentally keep yourself going during a 7+ hour race despite your brain saying no? And this one comes from Subi2768.
Be at the front.
That's multiple words.
You said be at the front?
Yep.
Yeah.
Carbohydrates.
I don't know. HTFU? I mean, that's an acronym for multiple words there, but
it's a good one.
All right, next question.
Okay, this one comes from K Jelly. I've got a question for the next Bonk Bros. I got rid of my car and commute by bike to work 5 days a week. It's about 10 miles one way, and I'm wondering how I can make all of this time more productive.
Not a one-word answer question.
And loop this into more productive training. Is it as simple as making 2 of the rides a little bit longer and higher intensity and just rolling the rest into the base miles category? I live in Minneapolis, so my opportunity to work on hills is very limited, but I'm fine doing long endurance rides regardless of the weather.
Okay, wait. So he's commuting and he's trying to figure out how to do training.
So in his commute is 10 miles. So,
well, you can easily make that longer. Like, you don't have to just do 10 miles.
Yeah,
right?
And that's what I would say is like, so that means he's commuting 20 miles a day. So that'd be 5 days a week. So 100 miles of commuting. Like, that seems like a lot, but the problem is it's like such short periods of time that you're riding for that like it might not be contributing that much to like producing like a solid base. So that's what I would say is like do your commutes normally and have like one of those commutes you can like extend it a little bit to like fit in like intensity. I wouldn't do 2 of your intensity workouts during your commute. Like I would just wait till the weekend for one of them, but you can make one of those intensity. And then I would say like 2 of your rides home during the week, try and make that like 30 to 40 miles. Like turn that into a longer ride.
Yeah, I agree.
I used to do that when I lived in Dallas. I would bike commute to work. And if I didn't work out in the morning, like before I actually got ready to go to work, then I would just do that, turn my afternoon commute into the long way home. And either do an intensity ride or just long base miles. So
the real question is, do you bring a spare set of chamois for the ride home, or would you just let yours air dry and wear the same ones back home?
No, that the latter option is disgusting. I would just ride. I would just ride and like.
That's good.
Yeah. No, I would
just ride in your suit, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I'll say I had a funny story where one time I basically like the roads were like a little bit slick. I was on my way to work and just like totally took this corner way too fast and like slid across like 2 lanes of traffic and hit some lady's car. No. I was not wearing a suit, but definitely tore up my jeans. Dude. Yeah, exactly. Definitely tore up some jeans on the way to work.
Yeah. So did you get to work and you were like all? I don't know, was it wet out? Like you were like...
Yeah, I mean, I slid, but it was enough that I had some like, I was definitely bleeding. So just went home at lunch, bandaged myself up, drove back.
Dude, so when I first got into riding bikes, it was the summer after college. So I was like 22 or 23 and I'd moved down to Chicago to go to grad school down there, like maybe a month or 2 after I like discovered bikes. Had this like, eye-opening experience riding a bike one day and was like, this is awesome. So I was like, and I moved to Chicago. I joined the cycling team, which I had no idea what that meant. This was like way before I even knew what bike racing was. The only bike I had at the time was a fixie that only had a front brake. And I was like pretty new to like urban riding and stuff like that. And it was so funny. So at the same time I was like single and I had like rekindled like a relationship with this like chick that I went to high school with. And we were like, had Friday night plans. We were going to like go out for drinks or something like that. And I was like, hey, meet me at my condo at like 8:00. I got to go do this like bike ride with the cycling team first. Like, I'll meet you at my apartment afterwards. So we were doing like what's called like Friday night critical mass, which is where like, I don't know, 1,000 people come together on bikes and like stroll through the streets of like Chicago and like take up the entire lane or like the entire road. And I like showed up to this like critical mass cycling team event and I brought like a backpack with like a 12-pack of beers in it. I didn't have a helmet. I was on my fixie and like I was just like totally like out of the element as far as like being part of like a team, like a cycling team. Like I didn't know what that meant. I was more just like there for the critical mass vibe. And so anyways, long story short, we're like 2 hours later, totally like across town, like 10, 15 miles like outside of town, like from where my condo is at. And the dude in front of me, it was like dark out by now. Dude in front of me swerved around or maybe bunny hopped. I think he bunny hopped over a pothole, but I was on a fixie. So like I couldn't really bunny hop. So I like went straight into the pothole, over the handlebars, face first into the pavement. The whole side of my body got like scraped up. I tacoed my front wheel. Like it was a total disaster. And the team like all stopped and stuff like that. And they were like helping me out. We had to like walk like a mile to get to the train. And I finally get back to my condo like half an hour late. This girl that I was supposed to go out with was there the whole time, like waiting for me. Luckily, she was like a pre-med student. So when I showed up with like my entire body just like gushing in blood, she was like actually kind of okay, like helping me out and like cleaning and scrubbing my wounds and stuff like that. But that was like our first date, was like me showing up half an hour late with half my skin shredded off me, pretty drunk at that time still. And like her having like scrub like street grit out of my like wounds after like crashing my fixie. So that was the first cycling team practice I ever went to.
Wow.
Jeez.
I mean, this cycling team sounds, if they're going to critical mass as practice,
it wasn't like a training ride. It was supposed to just be like a social event,
a team bonding thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel like that was actually the move, man. You know, like crash on your bike, and then she probably gets into like pre-med mode, and she was actually super happy to help and everything.
Yeah, she was all about it. Like it was fine, but what a first date, I guess, is like. Yeah. Your date shows up half an hour late, pretty buzzed and gushing blood all over.
So did it work out?
No. I mean, it did, because I, like 3 months later, met my now wife. So it worked out for the best. Okay, so this next question comes from...
What was the last question again?
Oh, I don't know. I think we answered it.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it was the guy that was commuting. Yeah. We answered it.
Cool.
Make
that was way more of a tangent than the PR lotion.
Yeah, 2 of your commutes home. Extend those to like at least 90 minutes. Make one of your morning commutes, or it doesn't have to be in the morning. I don't know. Morning just sounds like a nice way to wake up, but one of your commutes turn into like a 45-minute high intensity workout, and then hit some miles on the weekend.
Dope.
Okay, so this one comes from Dizzle Dillman. He wants to know, or he says, "Dang, already found my replacement." I hear you.
Yeah,
since he was talking about you, Tyler.
Yeah, this is a step up, in my opinion. This is the evolution of the podcast.
I mean, yeah, dude. Tyler doesn't run his big mouth, talking crap about people. So
exactly, I got no beef with Mark Biles or anybody else. Okay,
you need to start beef with somebody.
Okay, so this one's from JM Storm 44. Benefits of indoor rowing versus cycling. Thinking about Jason Osborne. I don't know what that's referring to.
Jason Osborne.
I'm assuming the question is there like are there benefits to? I mean, would you just call that cross training?
Yeah.
Or is indoor rowing better than indoor cycling?
I got a question about rowing and how it relates to cycling on my Patreon actually recently. So I did a video about how cross-training...
Are you saying JM Storm 44 needs to sign up for your Patreon in order to get exclusive access to your question answering about rowing?
I'll just repeat myself. This is a freebie. So there is research about how different sports relate to one another, and particularly with swimming, biking, and running, because those are the three sports that make up triathlon. Turns out running and cycling have a lot of crossover. There's less crossover between swimming and the other two sports. It seems like the sport with the most crossover with cycling is cross-country skiing. So if you wanted to train for cycling, but you couldn't ride your bike, the next best thing you could do would be to cross-country ski. I don't recall seeing any research on how rowing related to cycling, though. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I just don't remember it.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So, I mean, I would imagine that it's, obviously better than doing nothing, but probably riding your bike is the best thing to do.
I think it's probably good for like creating better, muscular balances, like offsetting muscular imbalances, I guess. Like cycling's very quad dominant. You're also not really using your upper body all that much, but if you're doing anything, it's kind of more in like a hunched over sort of like core activated position. So like rowing could help by like, activating your posterior chain a little bit more, which you don't really get a ton of on the bike. So I could see it for maybe that, but I don't think there's anything that's like specific to rowing that you're going to get a benefit from as far as performance goes that you wouldn't just get from spending more time on your bike.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so this one comes from Rostin Nordell. And he says, thoughts on Alex Wilde not getting picked for the Grand Prix? I thought he was a clear favorite.
Dang. Drama.
Did he not get picked, or did he just not apply?
I was texting him about this.
Who? Rostin?
I'm not saying I have any. I was texting who?
Rostin or Alex?
I was texting Alex Wilde, dude. We're like, we're like this.
Homies. All right. I got you.
I was trying to decide how many fingers to use. All right. So,
that's what Nina said when you had low T levels.
Thank you.
So so Alex Wilde got third place at Sea Otter last year, and in my mind, third place, if you're on the podium at any Lifetime Grand Prix race, you should automatically qualify to be in the Lifetime Grand Prix the next year if you apply, in my mind. So I just assumed that he didn't apply, like he didn't want to do it again. Maybe he was like one of those mountain bikers that was like, screw this gravel thing, I'm just going to race my mountain bike. I almost remember seeing a post from him.
I mean, he kind of did that. Effect.
Yeah.
He quit the Lifetime Grand Prix series.
Yeah, he did. So he bailed on Schwamigan because he went to Marathon Mountain Bike Worlds, and then he bailed on Big Sugar because he went to Marathon Mountain Bike Nationals. So, I mean, it's not like he didn't have a good excuse for going to those races. If he just wanted to pursue marathon mountain biking as opposed to getting not even in the top 10 in the Grand Prix. Probably. I mean, who knows? Maybe he would have done well at Schwamigan. He did do well at Sea Otter. So, but anyway, so I just assumed that he didn't apply because I was like, he would have definitely gotten in. And I was texting him. I think we were texting about like Aero socks or something. It's not a joke. That's actually what we were talking about. And, and then he's like, yeah, man, like I'm going to try to see if I can, somehow talk to somebody at Lifetime to see if I can get in the Grand Prix. And I was like, hold on, you didn't get in? Like you sent in an application and you didn't get into the Grand Prix? Like what? Like why didn't you?
He confirm that though, that he applied?
Yeah, he applied.
Wow. That surprises me.
I
mean, I'm surprised for one that he applied, given that he dropped out last year. But two, I'm definitely surprised that he didn't get in. And I don't know. I mean,
do you think it's the fact that he dropped out?
I'm not mad about it. Like, yeah, I mean, if you drop out of the series, like I don't know. I'm okay with not getting an invite back, at least not for the next year.
So you're saying it's a good call on Lifetime's part?
I'm saying I'm not mad about it. Now, there were one or two other people who dropped out of the series or like maybe didn't drop out, but like didn't qualify for the overall standings because they didn't do enough events.
Yeah,
that got in. So I don't know. Okay. I can't imagine that they were using that excuse. But I have a hard time believing that every single person that got in had a better pedigree than Alex Wilde.
Dude. I mean, he got on the podium at one of the races. Like I don't know. That's, to me, it's like you automatically qualify to get in next year, in my opinion. So I was shocked. I was like, I just assumed you didn't apply, man. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they don't like Alex Wilde over there or what the deal is, but it was surprising to say the least.
Maybe don't quit next time.
Yeah, we know how Tyler feels about this.
I say that. I don't know. I like Alex. I've only really heard him on other podcasts, but I mean, you can kind of see where maybe Lifetime is coming from in that respect, but still a bummer.
Yeah,
but to Adam's point, he's not the only one that didn't finish the series.
Yeah,
like there are other riders that didn't finish the series that got in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not like they have this rule, stated or not stated, that if you don't complete the series the previous year, you're not getting in the next year.
Right. All right. Let's do like one or two more.
All right.
This will be an easy one. You can do this one in one word, Dylan. This is from Caleb Sollenberger. He wants to know, for base season, aka off season, what zone should I be riding in relative to FTP?
Is he really asking this question?
Yeah, dude.
All right. Fine. 2. Next question.
Yeah, zone 2.
Sorry, I didn't mean to sound mean there. I almost feel like that question is like a obvious. I've talked about it so much on my channel.
Maybe he's testing you. Yeah, maybe he's testing you.
I feel like that's what that question is. You know what I mean? It's like, it's almost as if he was like, "Hey, Dylan, should I run aero bars at Unbound?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. The answer is no, unless you're not in the elite field.
All right.
Okay. So we could do this as the last one because it might be kind of long. This one comes from Isaac, and I can't see Isaac's last name. Sorry, Isaac.
It's okay. I don't know if we should be saying people's full name on this thing.
Don't dox them.
I have been. What are your thoughts on Specialized cutting their ambassador program? I've heard some projections
drama
for bike/bike sales in 2023 to be down, and companies will be cutting back.
Yeah.
All right. So give me some background, because I saw the memes about what happened, but I'm not sure that gives me all of the background.
So Specialized cut their paid ambassador program. So everyone that they cut out of their program were paid athletes.
Mm-hmm.
But they weren't, you can call them ambassadors, but they were basically professional athletes, part of their marketing team.
How do they differentiate a paid ambassador versus just like a pro that they sponsor?
Yeah. So I think it truly is like a paid ambassador is seen as part of marketing and PR team, versus a paid athlete is like their main responsibility is like athletics. Like sure they probably have like posting requirements and certain sponsor obligations, but the majority of their outreach is going to come from racing. So it's interesting because like there were a couple people that were part of the specialized paid ambassador program that you'd also consider to be bike racers. Like Lael Wilcox was one of them. She was like the biggest name on the list. And I don't know, most people know her as a bike racer, but she does like FKTs and super duper ultras and stuff like that.
Sounds like athletics though. No. Like I was thinking about like people with like podcasts and YouTube channels and
I think that's like Lyle's like she's doing like she's making content in media like, but she's not, and she's I guess technically competing in these races, but it's not like she's not Blevins, Chris Blevins or Haley Batten or someone like that.
Right.
Sure. Okay.
Right. Yeah. There's definitely a lot more content creation like with the ambassadors or what she was doing.
Gotcha.
So they cut out that like they basically just said, we have to make a budget cut. What are we going to do? Let's just cut out all of our paid ambassadors. So the interesting thing is like Lael, like, I don't know, there was a list of people. Lael Wilcox was definitely the biggest name that got cut out. I don't even know if I really recognized any of the other names.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm not sure what they did for them or like what their jam was. I'm imagining there were some kind of content creators or whatever.
Well, didn't another company, maybe it was Specialized, have like massive layoffs?
Every company is having massive layoffs.
Yeah.
Pretty much every bike industry company is.
Okay.
Yeah, like Specialized just had another massive layoff like last week. Like I think they've cut out like over 30% of their staff in the last 6 months or something wild.
Dang. So
but tons of companies are.
So correct me if I'm wrong here. This is the result of, there was a huge COVID boom with bikes, and then that boom is dying down, and these companies kind of, for a while, they didn't have enough bikes to, give people. And so now they've produced too many bikes, and now like they don't have enough people to sell them to.
Yeah, I guess you could kind of sum it up that way. In the meantime, like, the COVID bike boom happened, companies were doing good, they scaled up. But then
I didn't take any business classes in college. So.
Then supply chain shortages started happening. So, they weren't able to sell the bikes that they, were supposedly manufacturing. So, but sales were still high. But yeah, a big problem right now, and one of the main problems is that the supply chain is like finally starting to catch up, but all these companies had these like massive orders in place.
Yeah.
But now you've got like the market's kind of coming down, like inflation's super high. So like there's just not as many people, and like everyone's kind of going back to work again, so like there's just not as much demand for bikes anymore, at least not as much as there was at the beginning of 2020 and throughout 2020. And like there's still supply chain shortages for certain components. So like, there might be bike companies who have, an entire inventory of frames and, 99.9% completed assembled bikes, but they're like waiting on one part that's still back ordered. And now like those bikes are, now we're in 2023. So like maybe that's 2022 old inventory. What are they going to do with that? Like they have to just sell it for like on the cheap. While, in order to like make inventory room for new stock. So yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I've seen a lot of people, a lot of predictions that the bike industry is going to have a pretty steep crash here over the next couple of years. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an economist either, so I don't fully understand.
I mean, I feel like you said basically what I said, but just way more eloquently.
Maybe just a little more detail. I don't know. But yeah, either way, I don't think it's a good outlook for the bike industry. And I don't know if what that's going to do for like the bike race scene. Like.
Well, it means that companies are going to have less money to sponsor athletes, and athletes are going to have less money. So
But that's been the whole thing with cycling sponsorship to begin with, is everybody is so reliant on, or like that's the first place you go is some bike related company, and like everybody's knocking at that door. And the thing with cycling sponsorship is everybody, if you can get non-endemic sponsors, like non-cycling related brands in the sport, it makes it much longer lasting for everybody. Like, so Specialized cutting their, to your point, because it's, because of the contractions that everybody feeling business wise. I mean, them cutting their ambassador program, it's like, it definitely sucks for people that are counting on that money. But at the same time, they're just pivoting their business to either shore up their resources that they have, or maybe they're going to start marketing in a different way. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do now that they don't have all of these big name, endurance riders on the scene to promote their products.
Yeah, it is interesting because like today's day and age is all about social media marketing. So like it is kind of interesting that they elected to get rid of the athletes that their primary method of marketing was through social media. Like that's like what an ambassador does, at least, today. So, but at the same time, like there's other responsibilities within the company too. So it's like, if they don't get laid off, someone else is going to get laid off. And there's probably way more responsibilities that were important beyond just like social media presence that needed to still get done within the company.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if they, I don't know. I'm kind of interested to see how long, like there was that episode of the Grodio podcast with Brendan Quirk, where he put on his CEO hat and started talking about in his opinion that the influencer marketing is not like in its 11th hour, to use his quote. So I wonder if that's Specialized is ahead of the curve on that, or
in its 11th hour, meaning it's almost over.
Yeah, that was his take. Now, granted, we listened to this a couple of times, and he even said he doesn't have social media, so I don't know how much to trust his opinion.
Dude. Look, I know I'm biased here, right? Because I'm a YouTuber, right? But
you are?
I mean, how big does your YouTube channel have to be before you can call yourself a YouTuber?
Bigger than yours,
dude. We've got like 200 subscribers. Are we YouTubers?
So we're all YouTubers, dude. We're all YouTubers. Yeah. Anyway, so I know I'm biased here, right? But like, for him to say that influencer marketing is in its 11th hour, like, where is that coming from? That's insane. If anything, influencer marketing is only going to grow. Personally, I think that putting your money into, for example, a YouTuber that's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers versus a fast racer, I personally think that you're going to get more return on investment with the YouTuber, because people are so invested in that personality, versus a racer, like they don't know the person's personality at all. All they see is a result and maybe like some posts on Instagram, but you still can't get that much from an Instagram post. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I almost feel like a lot of these companies are behind the curve on influencer marketing. I feel like Specialized should be like hitting up Seth Bike Hacks right now. Like, I don't know if you guys, yeah, I don't know, but
maybe they're going to sponsor Burn Peak.
I mean, that's the kind of guy that could move insane quantities of bikes with his channel. You know what I mean? Or like, why isn't Specialized like contacting GCN, and having Specialized be the official bike of GCN?
So I don't know. I'm not that involved or invested in the YouTube space, so I don't know this for sure. But how many YouTube channels like a Seth Bikes Hacks or whatever you call it, like does he have any sponsors, or like do people tune in because he has an unbiased opinion to share.
So he used to be sponsored by Diamondback, but then Diamondback cut all their athletes, including him. And now and the only reason I know all of this is because my girlfriend works for Seth, doing some of his social media stuff. But he used to be sponsored by Diamondback, and now he's not sponsored by anyone, and he wants to continue not being sponsored by anyone so that he can have like unbiased reviews.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I feel like there is an allure to listening to someone who is not sponsored. It doesn't mean that Seth Bikes Hex,
I agree.
Isn't going to potentially go out there and sell, 1,000 specialized epics because he gets one and rides it and says it's awesome. It doesn't mean that potential isn't there. But if he's sponsored by Specialized and then goes and rides the bike and then says Specialized Epic is awesome, is he going to sell as many?
No, I agree. But I think that Specialized is obviously super invested in their athletes. They tend to try to sponsor the best athletes, obviously. And to me, it seems like they're not putting nearly as many dollars into, I don't know, YouTube. I don't know of any YouTubers that are sponsored by Specialized. Whereas like Canyon, for example, Canyon is clearly putting more money into that space and probably seeing a huge return on investment in it. Same with Factor. I mean, Factor sponsors me and Phil Guyman. Phil Guyman doesn't even race anymore, but I guarantee you he sells a lot of Factor bikes. Without ever getting a result. Like the only result he gets is on Strava. So I don't know. I feel like there are
results that matter.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I know I'm biased here, but I feel like my opinion on this is that, and this is not because like I want to squeeze more money out of bike companies. This is like genuinely what I think is that for the return on investment that companies would see, influencers, like particularly like YouTubers, are underpaid by these companies because they don't realize the potential. That's my personal opinion.
I mean, I have no reason to go against that. So,
yeah. I mean, I think as long as, I don't know, you talk about, this ambassador program being sponsored by the marketing arm of the company. I mean, maybe it's just a pivot. Maybe they're going to start sponsoring more YouTubers or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. It's a shame. It's a shame that it is the fact that people are losing parts of their livelihood because they got cut from an ambassador program. But I'm sure there's other companies out there, that will reach out or see some value in that. I mean, there's some huge names that were a part of that ambassador list that I was just skimming a few minutes ago. So it's hard to imagine that they're just never going to get picked up by a company. Like, who wouldn't want to attach their name to Lyle Wilcox or, Sarah Swallow and all of the following that they have. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's wrap this up there. That was a good one.
Sounds good.
Dizzle Dillman did not join us, as you all listeners can tell. But I don't know.
Yeah,
Tyler
we'll just have to wait and see if he comes on to tell us about his European cyclocross experience.
Oh, is that where he was?
Maybe it was so bad that he doesn't want to come on because he doesn't want to have to tell us.
Dude, I feel like that is the case because I've texted him
really?
and I'm like,
I was just joking, dude.
Dude, well, I don't want to say that, but like I've texted him and I've said, "Hey, how's the racing going?" and he didn't respond. And then I texted him about something else and he responded immediately. So it's like not that he wasn't checking his phone. Like I don't know. I mean, I could be completely wrong. He needs to come on the podcast and tell me. So
all right, yeah, we'll get him on.
Yeah, but I heard his race videos were good on YouTube. I'll have to go check them out. Yeah, I haven't heard.
You heard his race videos were good? You didn't watch them?
No, I don't even watch any of your videos either, Dylan. So I got a lot of content to catch up on. Sorry,
dude. Talking about YouTubers, man. Specialized should throw Dillman a bike.
Yeah, but he's on Roadhouse. He's already got sponsors.
Yeah. What bike is Roadhouse on? Cervelo or something?
Cervelo.
Yeah, Cervelo.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, okay. Maybe next time.
But we will see you guys next time. I mean, I don't know, Tyler. I don't want to speak for you, but we enjoy having you.
Dude, I mean, if Scott keeps skipping out and Drew doesn't want to come on, Tyler, you're just gonna become a regular.
Dude, I'm like Keanu Reeves from The Replacements in this scenario, just taking this thing to the top. So,
yep, this is gonna be Tyler's podcast before we know it. All right, we'll see you guys.
Yeah, see ya.
See ya.